أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Madam Chair, Commissioners, Lead Counsel, Assistant Lead Counsel, viewers and listeners, members of the press, good morning and welcome to our daily proceedings of this Commission of Inquiry into local government councils and related matters. For our next item on our today's agenda, I now have the honor to yield the floor to Madam Chair. Madam Chair, over to you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I will now call on Honorable Sila to lead us in Muslim prayers and Honorable Joyner to lead us in Christian prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والقاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره عظيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام 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 على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus Christ, Savior and Redeemer, we commit ourselves into your care with promise to serve you to the end. Always be on our side, our master and friend. Despite the challenges, we shall not fear the battle, because thou art by our side. Nor shall we wander from the pathways, since the great I Am will always be our guide today and forevermore. Amen.
Yes, sir, can you?
Good morning, Mr. Witness. Welcome. You may kindly take your seat, Mr. Witness, and welcome back for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into local government councils and related matters. Mr. Witness, for us to proceed with you, may I remind you that you are still under oath. Before I hand you over to Madam Chair. Thank you. Madam Chair, I now hand over the witness to you. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Ture.
Good morning, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Council, can we proceed, please?
Sure. Morning, Commissioners. Morning, Mr. Ture.
Morning. How are you?
So yesterday you were basically taking us through the appointment of the Director of Finance and the issues regarding the IFMIS system and your inability to generate reports for the council.
Yes.
We had also spoken about the confirmation of the appointment of the Director of Finance and the fact that there was a letter, you had indicated that there was a letter written to the ministry at some point.
Yes.
So I just wanted to show you some documents.
Okay.
Chairperson, this is from Exhibit LGC/DG002. Assistant Registrar.
With your permission, I also have a document that I want to tender regarding the letter that I wrote to the Permanent Secretary regarding the on qualification of the Director of Finance.
Okay, very well. Then let's take
requested
that
yesterday,
first.
yes. This is a letter I wrote to the Permanent Secretary. This is a letter that we received from the Ministry as an additional allowance to the CEO. I'm submitting two documents. One that I wrote to the Permanent Secretary regarding the Director of Finance. The second one is a document from the Ministry regarding an extra allowances for CEOs and the chairpersons.
Okay. So the one that you wrote to the Permanent Secretary is dated November 15, 2022, and it's a copy. Did you have an original copy yourself?
The original copy will be in Basel.
Will be with the ministry.
The one will be in the ministry, the other one will be in Basel.
Sorry, could you speak into the mic because I can't hear you well.
I said the original copy, one will be at the ministry and the other one will be in Basel in the file.
Okay, in the file.
Yes.
Would you be able to get the original copy at some point from Basse?
I will do my best, yes.
Okay. So we'll apply to tender the copy for now, and then when you get the original, we can replace. Chairperson, I apply to tender the letter dated 15th November 2022 from Basse Area Council, signed by Usman Toure, Chief Executive Officer, and the heading is on professional behavior of the Director of Finance of Basse Area Council.
With your permission, I also want to inform you that as per the request yesterday from the chairperson, Madam Chairperson, the financial statement for 2020, I have submitted it to the investigators. It's already with them, yes.
Okay. You submitted to the investigators when?
When I was asked to submit the documents from Basse Area Council, I have confirmed with them this morning.
Okay.
Yes.
A letter dated the 15th of November 2022, written by Usman Toure, Chief Executive Officer, Basse Area Council, addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Regional Governance and Religious Affairs, the Quadrangle Banjul. The said letter is copied to Chairman, Basse Area Council, Director of Finance, Planner, Engineer, and it has the heading on professional behavior of the Director of Finance of Basse Area Council. The said letter is admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/OT/CEO/BSAC/003.
As a commission, please. I also applied to tender the letter from the Ministry of Lands and Regional Government, which is addressed to 6 area councils, including Basse Area Council, and it's titled Approved Salaries and Allowances Increments for CEOs.
A letter dated 18th of July 2019 emanating from the Ministry for Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, the Quadrangle Banjul, with reference LM 9/209/01 in brackets 90, and is addressed to all the area councils. The said letter is signed by Gomez D for Permanent Secretary. It has the heading Approved Salaries and Allowances Increments for CEOs. The said letter is admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/OT/CEO/BSAC/004.
As the Commission, please. Assistant Registrar, can I please have the exhibits? Thank you. So, Mr. Ture, your letter to the ministry was sent on the 15th of November 2022.
Yes.
Right? Now, before you sent this letter, there was a letter sent by you. There was another letter sent by you, right?
Okay.
To the ministry?
Yes.
Okay, let me just show you. So, Chair, as I was saying, this is from Exhibit LGC/DG/002. 85. Thank you. That's folio 85. Is that the letter that you sent?
I think this is different. This one is, I'm conveying the decision of the establishment committee.
Could you speak into the mic, please?
I said, this one is, I was conveying the decision of the establishment committee.
Okay, and what was the decision of the establishment committee?
The recommendation from the establishment committee regarding the Director of Finance.
What were they recommending?
The establishment committee hereby recommending for the Service Commission to reconsider the appointment of Mr. Lamin Suso as Finance Director.
So that letter was dated the 11th of November, 2022.
Yes.
And if you go to the letter after it, I think folio 84,
Yes.
that's the letter from the ministry, right?
This is a letter that I wrote to the.
No, not that one, after that one.
It's a letter that I wrote to the establishment.
After that one.
After that one. Yes, confirmation in appointment.
So that's the confirmation of Lamin Suso's appointment by the Ministry of Lands.
Yes.
And it's also dated the 11th of November, 2022.
At 10th of November.
Oh, it's 10th of November, 2022.
Yes.
So did the establishment committee write the letter of the 11th of November, 2022 as a result of the confirmation on the 10th?
The establishment committee, I wrote to them in March 2022.
The letter you wrote in March 2022, is that the one dated the 23rd of March 2022?
Yes, 23rd of March 2022.
That was not in respect of the Director of Finance, right? That
Yes.
was in respect of 3 revenue collectors.
Okay.
Can you confirm?
Yes.
And it was in respect of monies that you were saying were collected by the revenue collectors but not banked
Yes, yes.
immediately.
Yes.
And these happened over 3 different days. I think the 9th of March 2023, is it?
The 9th of March
22.
2022.
14th of March 2022 and 17th of March 2022.
Yes.
Now, the letter is dated the 23rd of March 2022.
Yes.
So immediately that you realized that the revenue collectors were not doing what they were supposed to do, you wrote to the establishment committee.
Yes.
And this is within the space of a few days. Now you have your director of finance who's not been doing what he's supposed to do for over a year,
Yes.
and you don't write to the establishment committee. Is there a reason why he had preferential treatment over the revenue collectors?
No, he doesn't have any preferential treatment.
So why would you write about the revenue collectors and not about your director? And considering that his position is even more serious.
No, the letter is about the Director of Finance.
The letter dated the 23rd of March.
Yeah,
Please
sorry.
show me where it relates to the Director of Finance.
Sorry. That is about the revenue collectors. But regarding the affairs of the Director of Finance, not reporting the collectors directly. But
Please show me where in that letter there's any reference to the Director of Finance, or anywhere where it looks like you're reporting the Director of Finance.
it has come to the knowledge of the CEO that 2 collectors are found bringing physical cash to the council as opposed to Section 4, Article 406 of the Local Government Finance and Audit Act. Yeah, it was only talking about the collectors.
He was only talking about the collectors, no
Yes.
reference to the Director of Finance.
And no reference to the Director of
So
Finance.
you agree that you treated the revenue collectors in a different way when it came to their malpractice than you treated the Director of Finance when it came to his?
Well, when I learned about this, I was not very much so as to whom did they hand over the money to. So this is why.
So when you
I want
found
them,
out who
Yes.
they handed the money over to, why did you not write about it? Because you cannot say you didn't find out until November 2022.
Yes.
So I go back to my question. Are you agreeing that you treated the revenue collectors differently than you treated the Director of Finance when it came to their work?
Yeah, in this case.
Right. So can you also let us know why it is that after you conveyed the establishment committee's decision and recommendations to the Ministry of Lands, you yourself wrote as CEO to the ministry?
Yes, because I felt that that was the decision of the establishment committee. So I personally also have to write my own version of the
Is
whole
the
thing.
establishment committee not the body responsible for recommendations in respect of discipline and employment?
Yes.
So why did you feel that you needed to add anything to whatever they were going to say? I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just wondering why, after the establishment committee wrote, you decided to write as well.
I wrote because I just want to substantiate whatever they wrote to the ministry about the Director of Finance.
Did you feel that the ministry would not pay attention to what they wrote?
Yeah, even these
If
letters.
you didn't write as well?
Yeah, maybe because of even these letters, I could not remember receiving any reply as such.
And do you think that's perhaps because you wrote after he'd already been confirmed as the director?
It may be the case, but I was never communicated as to why they never replied back.
And did you follow up?
Yes, I made follow up
With whom?
with the permanent secretary to find out whether he has received my letter and that of the establishment committee. He confirmed yes, but since then I have not received any reply from him.
I see. And when was anything done about Thank you. When was anything done about the Director of Finance?
Well, nothing has been done about it.
Nothing has been done?
No. I do not remember.
Isn't it because of the actions of the Director of Finance that there was a system audit of the council?
The system audit, before the system audit, I could recall when this establishment committee wrote, then I also wrote again. I could remember, point of correction from my side, that the ministry wrote back to him to say that let him confirm the allegations made to him by the establishment committee.
Okay.
They wrote back to him, yes. So he wrote back, but since then we have not had anything.
So you were explaining about the system audit and how it came?
Yes, the system audit, based on the issues that were happening regarding the Director of Finance, writing to the ministry, nothing has happened. Writing to informing the General Council, they had a meeting, but to no avail. A task force was set.
Sorry, before you continue there, you're saying that you wrote to the, was it you who wrote to the General Council, or was it the report of the establishment committee that went to the General Council?
After the report of the establishment committee, the General Council met, discussed about it, but after that, nothing happened again.
So did nothing happen, or did the General Council decide that it was not going to do anything about the report?
Well, there was a meeting that I did not attend, so I cannot confirm that. But sources from that meeting was, when they wanted to write to him, he pleaded to them and said, if you write to me, you are going to stain my file. But I did not attend that meeting, so I could not confirm
So
that.
even though you didn't attend the meeting,
Yes.
weren't there minutes of the meeting?
They should be in the General Council file, which I have submitted to the investigators.
When did you submit this? If you can find it, it's fine. We'll
Yes, I'll-
deal with that
I
after
have,
the break.
I have an inventory of the documents that I have submitted to the.
Okay, that's
I will look for it, then
Okay.
I'll submit it later. Yes.
we can deal with that after
All
the
right,
break.
Okay. Okay.
Assistant Registrar, can I have the file back, please?
Okay, it's here. I submitted sorry, this one is mine. I submitted it on the 19th of May, 2023.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, thank you. So we'll check for that. And then, so you're saying that the meeting took place and you didn't know what happened in the meeting, but that minutes were taken?
Yes.
So, okay. We've been informed that you're responsible for taking the minutes at the different committees for the council?
No.
So who takes the minutes?
Each of the committees, they have their own secretary.
And who takes the minutes for the general council?
The general counsel is the clerk of the council.
Okay, so each of the committees has their own secretary?
They have their own
and the
secretary.
secretary takes the minute,
Yes.
the meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not the information we got from your director of finance?
No, I never took any minute from the committees. I only go there if I'm not in a position to go there, I delegate. But I've never taken any minutes.
Okay. So you were explaining about what you did in respect of the Lamin so what the letters that you wrote, etc. And I had cut you off.
We went up to the stage of writing to the general counsel about the internal auditors. That is where we stop.
About the internal auditor?
Yes.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah, we're talking about, writing to the establishment committee, forwarding their findings to the
general counsel?
general counsel, whether that was what prompted the internal auditors to come.
Yes.
Then I said no.
Okay.
Yeah, because after that, there was a task force. The task force also, the report, I have submitted it to the investigators.
Who set up the task force?
The general counsel said a task force.
Okay, and which people made up the task force?
The task force was mainly comprised of the councillors.
Okay.
And the media and communication officer was their secretary.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, could you say that again? I apologize.
Yes, I said a task force was set.
Okay, and you said it comprised of the councillors and the media and communications officer?
Yes.
As their secretary?
Yes,
Right.
that report was also sent to the general counsel. I think the general counsel could not reach an agreement. That prompted the then chairperson of the audit committee, prompted him to tender his resignation. But when he tendered it, during the break time, I called him in my office. I told him that the work that we have started, you cannot just stop it now. You have to continue it. So he said, but I am discouraged, I have to resign. I said, no. I think what we can do now is for you to pass a motion at the General Council for the CEO to write to the ministry to invite internal auditors from the ministry. I advised him to do that. So when they went back, the motion was passed, and I was advised to communicate to the internal auditors. But before that, I also wrote to the chairperson, informing him that the way and the manner things are unfolding in the council, if we do not invite the auditors outside to come, it will be very, very difficult for some of the things to be unfolded. Because one, maybe the task force we will not have the capacity to look into, so many other things. But if we have the internal auditors, they come and conduct a system audit, then we'll be able to know. Then the chairman, asked me, CEO, you are inviting the internal auditors for yourself? I said yes. Even if my head is going to roll, let them come and they find out. So, and I have that letter here that I wrote to the chairman.
Can I see that letter, please? Do you also have a copy of the task force report? By chance?
I only have a soft copy. Okay. During break time, I can print it.
Who would have the original?
The head of the internal subcommittee, Mr. Omar Gari. Sorry, the task force, Honorable Sen Kanute.
Okay. After the break, can you make a printout of the soft copy that you have?
Okay.
Thank you.
So if you can allow me during break, yes. I can look for it. I also have a soft copy in my mobile, and I can print that one.
Yes, I was just saying that we can give him time during the break for him to sort out. Yes. Please note that so that Mr. Ture.
Okay.
Please note. Okay. Whatever you need to check through your documents, you can do so during lunch break. Okay. And we can come back on it when we resume.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes, Council.
In the meantime, I also want to tender this document.
Assistant Registrar, please. What's that document?
It is also a letter addressed to the Permanent Secretary about the Director of Finance. Another letter to the Permanent Secretary requesting for the internal auditors. Another letter to the Permanent Secretary regarding the invitation of the internal auditors to conduct a system audit.
So the letter to the permanent secretary about the internal auditor, it is a printout of a photograph of the letter. Where's the original letter?
The original, I mailed it to the Director of Finance to inform him about the coming of the internal auditors and also to use the letter for the payment of their night allowances. But later I asked, he said he could not find it. So this letter, I have it from the auditor's report.
You got this letter from the auditors what?
From the system audit, because I gave them a copy. So,
Okay, you're saying you took a picture of this from the system audit report?
Yes. It's a copy from the system audit report.
Okay.
Yes.
We should have the system audit report, so let's check for that. We'll check for that. I'll hold on to this for now, and then we'll do that after the break.
Yes,
but I'll apply to 10. So the letter about the Director of Finance, this is a copy?
Yes.
Or is the original?
The original will be in Basse.
Okay, can you also make sure that you get us the original copy? It's the letter dated 3rd April 2023, entitled The Unscrupulous Behavior of the Director of Finance. So if you just make a note. Chairperson, I apply to tender the letter from Basse Area Council to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, dated April 3rd, 2023.
And I did not receive any reply from the ministry regarding that letter.
Okay.
Yes.
A letter dated the 3rd of April 2023, written by Usman Toure, Chief Executive Officer. Said letter has a reference ADM 10/93/15, addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Regional Government, and Religious Affairs, the Quadrangle Banjul, with the heading The Unscrupulous Behavior of the Director of Finance. And the said letter is addressed to the, is copied to the Chairman, Basse Area Council, Chairman, Local Government Service Commission, Internal Auditor, Ministry of Local Government and Lands, Governor of URR, Director of Finance, Basse Area Council, Planner Engineer, Basse Area Council. The said letter is admitted and marked as LGC/OT/CEO/BSAC/004.
As the Commission play this. Assistant Registrar. So I've found the document, the second letter, Mr. Ture, in the internal audit report. So I'm going to return it to you. So, Chair, the letter can be found at page 79 of the system audit report, which is exhibit LGC/BSC/SA/CAS/002. So, Mr. Ture, this letter is dated September 8th, 2022.
Yes.
That's before the establishment committee wrote about the Director of Finance. So from the letter, the date of the letter and the contents of the letter, because it doesn't refer to any unscrupulous behavior, it doesn't refer to any issues of finances, it's very bland, it doesn't say anything. And considering that your letter about the Director of Finance, all the letters were in November 2022, it doesn't look like the two are related. So can you tell us why you asked for a system audit to be conducted?
Yes, because I don't want it to be specifically based on director. I want even myself to be included for them to come and conduct a system audit that will not only be related to finance, but including every other thing in the council.
So the system audit, whether you asked about one issue or not, it would be a thorough forensic audit, right?
Yes.
About the whole council.
Yes.
So my question is that it does not look like the council raised the issue of the Director of Finance until November 2022. So it's like you knew about his issues, but you did not bring this up. You did not bring it up in September when you asked for the system audit. You did not bring it up at any other time. It's only in November that the establishment committee brought this up. And when did the auditors come from internal audit to start doing the work?
I think they came in October.
They came in October.
Yes.
So they would have already started doing the forensic work before you even brought up the issue of the Director of Finance.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yes.
So the issues that were coming up from the audit would have informed the decision of the establishment committee to write?
No, before the auditors completed their work, these letters were sent to the ministry because those.
So I'm not saying that when the auditors completed.
Yes.
I said when they started in October, so they would have already started uncovering issues. Is that not right?
Before the auditors, the system audit came, the task force and the council's own internal audit unit have already conducted their findings.
And what was the finding of the task force?
What
was the finding of the task force?
Yes, I said I will print it during break time.
Yes, but do you remember what the gist of their findings were?
They talked more or less about the system audit, but they were having some limitations that they were not able to go into some of the issues that were traced by the system audit, like issues regarding the deposits.
Okay, but did they find that the Director of Finance had breached several of his obligations and his duties?
Yes.
Okay, so the auditor, is it the auditor? The internal audit at the council had already raised this issue about the director.
Yes.
And the general council decided not to do anything about it.
Yes.
Then the task force did the same thing. And still the general council decided not to do anything about it. Is that right?
Yes.
Is it the same for the establishment committee? It is only when the establishment committee wrote that the letter was sent to the Ministry of Lands.
Exactly.
And the establishment committee only wrote after the Directorate of Internal Audit had sent auditors to start looking into the council's affairs.
Yes. You could. There is another letter here. Regarding the implementation of the internal audit committee of the council.
Assistant Registrar. So why did the General Council not do anything? You were saying that it's because Lamin Suso plead.
Sorry, Council. Can you please check all the letters and all the documents that you have?
Okay.
So that it could be forwarded to Council, and we will check which ones we want to tender, and we will tender them all. All the documents you have that you wish this commission to have,
Okay.
please identify all of them so that we will not be wasting time.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think these are all the documents that I brought. The letter is looking for is on top. Huh?
Mr. Ture, did you take an inventory of all the documents you are giving to us today, both original and copied?
I've got an
so
inventory.
that we will have that as our guide?
Yes, I have an inventory, but some of them are not here, the one I submitted today.
Okay, you will liaise with the registrar.
Okay.
If we do admit all of them,
Okay.
so that you can take it from our register.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes.
So the letter that you were speaking about is from
Sorry, the registrar. Can you
Assistant Registrar?
Assistant Registrar. Yes.
So there's the letter from the council clerk. Ismail Sediba is the council clerk.
Yes.
Is he not also your admin officer?
Yes, it also helped me in the administrative work.
So Ismail Sediba, there's a letter from him dated November 8th, 2021. It's addressed to you and the Director of Finance. And it's about implementation of the recommendations of the Internal Audit Committee. And there are two letters dated the 19th April 2023, also headed Implementation of Internal Audit Recommendations, written by you to the Director of Finance. And there's one dated the 20th April 2023, written by Lamin Suso to you.
Yes.
Also headed Implementation of the Internal Audit Recommendation. The Chairperson, I applied to tender the three letters in a bundle.
A letter dated 8th of November 2021, written by Ismaila Sediba, Council Clerk, with the heading addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Director of Finance, with the heading implementation of the recommendations of the Internal Audit Committee. A letter dated the 19th of April 2023, the said letter, Mr. Ture, the said letter is not signed. Who wrote this letter? Deputy Registrar, can you give this letter?
Yes, this was written by me.
Okay, can I have it? Why was this not signed?
I was parking. The signed copy might be at the council there.
So please help us get the signed copy.
Okay, let me have the title.
Yes.
The heading.
The letter is dated 19th of April 2023. The heading is Implementation of Internal Audit Recommendation. And is addressed to Director of Finance, Basa Area Council. Let me take this again. A letter dated November 8, 2021, addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Director of Finance. The said letter is written and signed by Ismaila Sediba, Council Clerk, with the heading Implementation of the Recommendations of the Internal Audit Committee. A letter dated 19th April 2023, addressed to the Director of Finance, with the heading Implementation of Internal Audit Recommendation. And a letter dated 20th of April 2023, addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Basa Area Council, written and signed by Lamin Suso, Director of Finance. They are all admitted in a bundle and marked as LGC/OT/CEO/BSAC/005.
As a commission, please, I'm grateful. Assistant Registrar, can I please have those exhibits? Thank you. So, Mr. Ture, the recommendations, or rather the implementation of the recommendations of the Internal Audit Committee, the letter dated 8 November 2021, they were saying that they wanted to bring to your notice the following recommendations from the Internal Audit Report, which were adopted by the General Council on October 1st, 2021. And they've listed the recommendations. So they said that all claims, including night allowances, cash power, credit, and others should be attached with an authentic supporting document. The budget officer should always be asked about the availability of funds before any payment is made. All claims should be attached with a requisition form, be it cash power, fuel, etc. Invoices, receipts, and supporting documents should always be signed for authentication. Salaries should be prepared on the 15th of every month so that it can be audited before the 25th. All checks should be photocopied and attached to the various vouchers before payment is done for reference purpose. Pre-financing has to stop with immediate effect. If the CEO or DOF is traveling, they should sign at least a maximum of 2 checks to avoid pre-financing and financial mismanagement. The council should stop business with Yaye Instant Services Limited and should be buying cash power at NAWEC and use CUG for internal purpose. Cash power, credit, and fuel should be purchased monthly to avoid unnecessary use of the council's funds. Claims should be backed fully by the consent of the individual. All staff, including the court members and CFOs, should be paid by bank except for the disabled to avoid bringing huge amounts of money to the council, to avoid risk of embezzlement. This should be done before next month. Allowances should be separated for easy verification. Since the revenue of the council is decreasing, the revenue collectors and LUMO collectors should be frequently rotating to know the actual revenue. Finally, since the CEO and DOF are receiving telephone allowances, the council should stop buying credit for them. Therefore, your adherence to these recommendations will be highly solicited by the General Council. So this was a letter that they sent to you in November 2021.
Yes.
So from the contents of this, it looks like there was a lot of pre-financing going on at the council.
Yes, when they did their investigations, most of the time when they question the finance department, they will say, we have pre-financed this, we have pre-financed this. But if you look at there is a letter that I wrote regarding long time ago, regarding the stoppage of pre-finance.
When was this long time ago?
This was later dated 1st January 2020. And I wrote on the letter 15th. The number is 15 on it.
Sorry.
It was a memo, pre-finance for council dated 1st January 2020.
Assistant Registrar, can I see that letter?
It's there, it's in the bunch that I have submitted.
Sorry, this bunch that you gave me had 3 letters. Or do you mean this whole bundle?
The whole bundle, yes.
Oh, no problem.
I have a list of them here, yes.
So you can look for that after the break.
Check on it 15th. It's level 15.
Let me give it to you to check.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. So this is the letter dated 1st January 2020, and it's a memo to all the council staff.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a photocopy.
Yes.
So where's the original?
The original will be at the council.
Okay, so can you also note it down to get us the original so that we can compare with this? Chairperson, I apply to tender the memo dated 1st January 2020 from the CEO to all the council staff, and it's headed No Pre-Finance for Council.
Confirm the last exhibit name. Is there? The letter dated 1st of January 2020 being a memo to all council staff of the Basse Area Council with the heading No Pre-Finance for Council. Said letter is signed by Usman Toure, Chief Executive Officer, copied to Chairman, Basse Area Council, Director of Finance, and a planner engineer. The said letter is admitted, the said memo is admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/OT/CEO/BSAC/006.
As the Commission pleases. So, Mr. Toure, in 2020, who was pre-financing the council that had you writing to the staff to stop?
Yes, when I took over in 2019, I found it as a sort of a customs there, that when the collectors collect, they will bring the money to the council, so they will pay for the pre-finance that they have done, and the balance will be taken to the bank. So I've been observing, so I realized that this cannot continue because it's not good for the council. This is why January 2020, and I wrote this letter to all the staffs, because the collectors will come and say, my motorbike has a problem. I have changed the tires or the batteries or whatever. So before they take the money to the bank, they have to take whatever they have expense on their motorbike or whatever. Yes. So that was what prompted me to write this memo to all the staff.
Okay, so can you take us through how the council actually conducts its financing in terms of, if the revenue collector needs to fix something and they need funds from the council, or the council needs to pay for goods or services? Can you take us through the process of how this works?
Yes. Normally when their motorbikes has problem, they will come to me and they will inform me. I will tell them to write a claim. When they write a claim, I'll minute that claim to the procurement officer, and I'll tell him that, can you please provide an invoice for this request? Then he will go to the shop to look for that materials and come with an invoice. But there were instances when the collectors will also come with invoice. Then I'll mail it on the top of that invoice to the procurement, and I'll tell him that please verify this invoice accordingly.
Okay.
Yes.
So after your procurement officer has gotten the invoices, what happens?
When he got the invoice, then he will prepare the necessary documentation.
What are the necessary documentation?
The procurement-related forms.
Procurement what form?
The procurement GPP-related forms.
Okay.
Yes.
And then?
Then he will take it to the director to sign his portion. Then he will bring it to me for me to sign it, to sign my portion as well. Then on top of before the signature, the claim, I will also write to the Director of Finance to say that please facilitate the payment of this claim when funds are available.
And then how will it be paid for?
Now?
How will it be paid for?
Then where we have the invoice, we search for the name, we'll contact the person so that we can have the name of the person on the invoice.
Is it not usually a business name on the invoice?
Yes, sometimes it's the business name on the invoice.
Or the person's name on the invoice?
Some will tell us that they don't have the account for their business, so we have to write their individual's name on the check.
Okay.
So
are you saying that you're getting the name to put it on a check?
Yes.
Okay. So you put the name, you issue the check in the business's name or the individual's name?
Yes. There are instances where some of those businesses will tell us that they don't have an account, they will want us to pay them in cash.
They don't have what?
They don't have an account, but they will want us to pay them in cash.
Okay. Do you need an account to be issued a check?
Sometimes we'll like if the business has an account. we'll
No,
write
so
the
what I'm
account
asking
name.
is that you said you would pay in check, and sometimes they would tell you they don't want it, they don't have a bank account.
Okay,
So that's
so-
why I'm asking you, does one need a bank account to be issued a check?
Not necessarily, but the question is that they will tell us that normally if you give us a check, it will take some time before we get our money. So we'll prefer you people pay us in cash. But that will be, it will not be that substantial amount of money. There will be instances where I'll already sign and the Director of Finance will tell me we have to search for the name. Then when he get the name, then he'll put the name there. But then I have already signed the check and I've given him the check.
So you're saying that you sign the checks and you leave it with the Director of Finance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
We'll come back
in
to
many
that.
instances, yes. In many instances.
So that's when your staff requires something. So what about generally? Because you haven't mentioned the payment voucher here.
Yes.
Where does that come in?
When the procurement did all his work, then it will take it to the accounts for them to raise a voucher for it.
You'll take the what?
They will take the procurement related documents to the finance, the Director of Finance, for him to delegate his officer to raise a voucher for that payment.
So the Director of Finance staff, so the finance staff would raise the payment voucher.
Yes.
And then what happens to the payment voucher after it's raised?
They will take it to the Director of Finance to sign, then they will bring it to me also to sign.
So this is the standard process that you're saying that the council uses?
That is what we used to do in Basse Area Council. But there are instances when some other expenditures are done in my absence, despite they have all the related documents. If they bring it to me, if I'm not satisfied with it, I will not sign it.
What instances are those?
Like the General Council recommended that we should leave a check. That check, we didn't put any amount there. We leave a blank check, we sign it. So when I come over and I'm not satisfied with the expenditure on that pertaining to that particular check, I will not sign the vouchers. That issue has, happened many times until the director have to take the matter to the chairman, and then we called a management meeting and we discussed about that. And I believe Yaya Sise must have submitted the choir book relating to the minutes of the management meeting.
So let me just ask you, if what you're saying is that you leave a signed check, a signed blank check with the Director of Finance?
Many times.
Pardon?
I did that many times.
Yes, so you've done
Yes.
that many times. You've left signed blank checks with the Director of Finance.
Yes.
And you're saying that when you come back and you find that the documents that are supporting payments that should be made, if you're not satisfied with those documents, you won't sign off on those.
Yeah, but yes, I will not sign. But later, all those things have to stop because I realized.
We're dealing with that first, and then you can come back to that.
We'll come back to that, yes.
So,
Yes.
considering that you've already signed the check
Yes.
that is supposed to be used to pay for all these services, even if you have not signed the payment voucher, is it not possible, and is it not something that happens, that the Director of Finance would just sign the check and cash it anyway?
Yeah, that is possible. Because already I've already signed the check.
So that's my point. How does it make sense to leave a signed check which you're going to be accountable for when you don't know what the check is going to be cashed for?
Yeah, I know it was very, very, I realized that it was very, very risky. That act of signing checks, living with him.
But you said that you've done this many, many times.
Yeah, the last one, the last of its kind was in September. Maybe we'll go into that when I was going on leave in September 2021.
So, yesterday I'd asked you about the budget and the reports and how you would know whether you knew why you need to know what council's expenditure and income was in relation to the budget.
Yes.
Now, if you actually follow your budget and you're monitoring your budget, you're monitoring your income and your expenditure, would you not be in a position to know? So you've just said that you would write a note to the director to say that pay when funds are available. Would you not be in a position to know when funds are available, what funds are available, what you can actually pay for, all those things? Would you not be in a position to know these things?
Yes, but as part of his responsibility, he should advise me. Likewise, I should also advise the chairman on financial matters.
Yes,
So
but we've already established that he does not advise you and you don't advise the chairman.
If I have to write and say pay, he may think I'm dictating him, which in many cases was the assumption that I used to dictate, undermine, and so many other things.
But
so this is why I've
Mr.
given
Ture, aren't you his boss? Are you not supposed to dictate to him? If it's something that is his job,
Yes.
is that not your job to dictate to him what he should do in accordance with the rules or the regulations that govern the council?
Yes, but I have to do it in a way, not like putting the words directly onto him. This is why I said, please pay when the funds are available.
I'm not sure I understand that.
Yes.
What do you mean that what you have to say it in a way, please pay when the funds are available? What else would you have written?
Yeah, because he's the one, I am the chief accountant, but he controls the vote. So that if I said, please facilitate the payment of this particular claim when funds are available, normally he will come back to me, he will write back and say, funds are not available, which I will also believe that he has checked the accounts, the statements and everything, and realized that the funds are not available.
How is it that you're in that position and you don't follow up or you don't verify availability of funds? As in, how is it that the director of finance can just tell you funds are not available and you say, okay, funds are not available? Does it not bother you that funds are not available? And do you not make it your business to find out why funds are not available? And what has happened to the funds? Why doesn't the council have money? Why can't it pay its bills?
Yeah, sometimes we'll have that push and pull because there are some certain banks that I will have SMS alert. If we write to back and say funds are not available.
That's not what.
Yes.
So I'm not asking about.
No, just wait, please. When he write back to say funds are not available, I will tell him that no, funds are available in this particular account, so we can pay this particular claim from this account.
So, do you ever query him when he says funds are not available, and then you found out that there are funds in a particular account?
Yes.
When and how?
Not very long ago, when I was called by the investigators to come and make a submission.
So, when I ask you questions, try as much as possible to tell me something that hasn't happened before Bassa Area Council has been looked into,
Okay.
because then it looks like the whole council is only realizing all the problems after investigators have come and after a system audit report. So, for your own sake, try to give examples that have happened before third parties have come into your council to look at what's wrong with it.
Okay.
So prior to that, have you queried him? If you have, how have you done it? Because it doesn't look like there's been anything in writing about the director of finance and about the finance department, except for the few revenue collectors that you've taken note of. But there doesn't seem to be anything prior to investigations being conducted into your council.
I think there are letters there before the investigators came.
The only letter that you've shown me is the one that the internal audit department wrote, which has started this conversation now.
Yes.
Yes. And even then, the next letter in the thread from 2021 is 2023.
Okay.
So I'm still trying to understand, why is it that not you, not the chairman, not the general counsel, nobody wants to do anything about your director of finances malpractices until third parties have come into the picture? And then all of a sudden everybody's writing letters left and right to complain about the director of finance.
Well, before we are treating the issues internally, writing to the chairman, reporting the matter to the general counsel for the internal audit committee to, conduct audit exercise for the task force. All those things happen before the
And
the system
those same
audit
people, the same councillors who make up, the same councillors who make up the general council, who are investigating the matter, the same establishment committee, which is also made up of the councillors who sit in the general council, have gone back to the general council, and the general council has still decided, let's not do anything about it.
They did not reach an agreement.
Sorry, Chairperson, I think your mic is on. Thanks. Pardon?
I said they could not reach an agreement as to what.
So that's my point, right?
Yes.
So what I want to know is, what is the reason behind it? It cannot possibly be that you have one staff who's responsible for the funds of the whole council, and everybody is afraid to say anything to him. There has to be a reason.
Well,
that's what I want to know. Why is it that not you, not your general counsel, not your chairman, nobody can say anything to this director of finance who holds all the funds of the council when he's been misbehaving from the beginning of his tenure at the council, until third parties have come in?
Yes, the reason for that is not to my knowledge, but it came to me as a growing concern that it is high time that we invite the internal auditors to come and conduct a system audit.
So when you wrote to the internal,
the report from that system audit would not be the decision of the general. Will not be the decision of the general council.
So that's the point. It's like the general council is afraid to make a decision about one person who works for the council. So that's what I'm wondering. Why is the general council, why are you, your establishment committee, why is everybody afraid to make a decision about one staff, and you need to move it to somebody else to do it? What does the staff have over the rest of you that you're afraid?
Well, that one is not to my knowledge.
So even the letter that you sent to the permanent secretary for the internal audit, all you said is that at the emergency general council meeting held on Wednesday, September 7th, mind you, this letter is dated September 8th, 2022, the general council has passed resolution to have an auditor from a line ministry to conduct a pre-auditing exercise for the council. To that effect, the management of Basse Area Council writes to your honorable office to request for an auditor from your internal audit department to work with our own audit unit and conduct a thorough pre-auditing exercise before the coming of the National Audit Office. It is preferable that this pre-auditing exercise takes place in the month of October. The management of Basse Area Council shall be counting on your usual support and encouragement. So all you're saying is that you want assistance to conduct a pre-auditing exercise before national audit comes. There's nothing in that letter that suggests that there's anything wrong in your council that you need looking into. And you said the internal auditors came in October 2022. As soon as they start digging into your issues, you start writing letters about the director of finance.
No, those issues were there before the internal auditors. That was.
But you didn't do anything about them.
Yeah, because of the non-action taken. This is what prompted.
Yeah, so that's my point. Why is it that it is only when a third party has come into your council and you know something is going to come out of it, that's when you start writing?
No, the writings were as a result of what has happened before the internal auditors.
So
The system audit, yes.
why didn't you write at that time? Why didn't you write before you even invited the internal auditor? Why did you not? You don't have any letter,
Yes.
any memo, nothing that relates to Lamin Suso prior to November 2022.
Yeah, maybe
And that's after the internal auditors have already come into Basse.
maybe I'll check again.
Please check. If you have anything, we'll be happy to receive
Okay,
it.
all right, okay.
Yeah. So now, when did you realize that the Director of Finance was pre-financing the council?
No, I could not remember at any point in time Director of Finance, pre-finance, because if we don't have it, we go ahead to do the verbal loan agreement. We go out together.
You have a verbal loan agreement.
We go out to the people that we think they can help us. And
I don't understand. Which people are these?
some of them are businessmen in Basse.
So let me understand. You go as the CEO and the Director of Finance, or just you?
Director of Finance.
Director of Finance and yourself?
Yes, sometime we'll if the going get tough, we'll ask the chairman to accompany us.
Okay, so you, the Director of Finance, and the chairman. The chairman is Fode Danjo?
Yes.
Okay, so the three of you will go to the businessmen in Basse
Yes, yes.
and ask
But
them
not,
to...
but not like me taking my money to pre-finance or Director of Finance or the chairman.
Okay,
But there was an instant when we could not get anything. There was somebody who has some money with the chairman. The chairman gave us that money, but later we pay it back.
Okay, so if you just continue with that story.
Yes.
You yourself, the chairman, and the Director of Finance, you go to the businessmen in Basse.
Yes.
The same people that you collect taxes from and rates and trade license. And you tell them that, oh, the council is broke. We need money. Can you lend us? Is that an accurate summary?
Yes.
Okay, so how often do you do this?
It's not very often. Like, for example, we have to pay salaries, and we have a shortfall of an amount. Then, at the time, we go and look for that amount, then pay, add it to that, and we pay salaries. Or if there are instances where we need certain amount, but the money in our account cannot, be able to foot that bill, then we go out, look for somebody to help us. And anytime we have money, we refund it.
So when you go and look for somebody to help you, do you have this in writing?
No, we didn't have it. We don't have it in writing. It's just that they trust us, and we make sure that we fulfill our agreement. Okay,
so when you're also going to, because I'm sure you decide which businessmen you're targeting before you go. You're not going to randomly start walking around Basse looking for picking. So you would target the one that you're going to. So when you're going, do you check whether they've paid trade license for the year?
Yes, that time we'll check already they have paid.
Okay, but so they have paid.
Yes.
And they don't owe the council anything.
And that one also is not in, I could remember it was the chairman and one of my friend, one late Sir Furu Gomez, because we used to be friends. When I met him, we become friends. Mostly we go to him. If we don't have it, then we go, but we don't go to anybody, any Tom, Dick and Harry. No, we don't go there.
So like about how...
Mr. Ture, can you please speak up? We are not getting your evidence.
Yes. I said we don't go to anybody. I think I could remember in few instances where we have to go out to get money from one late Furu Gomez to foot our bill, and another instance where somebody have given money to the chairman for him to keep it for other things. Then he told us that he has some money, somebody gave him money, then we asked him to give us, and we paid that, we put our bill. And there was one instant, the former director, Babakar MJ Kante, when he was already at the bank and told me that the salary, we have a shortfall. I say, then we have to go and look for money. Then while he was there, he told me that there is somebody here in the bank, there is somebody here who is ready to give us the money, but he said we have to give it to him back anytime when he needs the money. So I said, okay, you can, but that one is not much. Like
so the ones that you borrow from this Furu Gomez or the other businessmen in Basse, about how much do you borrow?
Furu, I could remember in 2019 when we are going for Safra, when I newly took over, I found that the council was seriously indebted. We went to him, he gave us an amount of 200,000, we have paid. And there was another instance, we went to him, he gave us an amount of 100,000, we paid 25,000, then later I sent Daba to pay the remaining 75,000, shortly before his demise.
Okay. So
Yes.
you're saying, you've given examples of when you borrow money to pay salaries. Now, you're supposed to have prepared the payment vouchers for the salaries by the 15th, right? So that they can go through the process of
Yes.
being verified.
Yes.
So when you've done this,
Yes.
is it not at that point that either your budget officer or your director of finance will alert you that there's not enough funds in the council account to pay salaries for this month? How do you get all the way to the bank and then realize you don't have enough money?
Normally, for salaries will depend on overdraft. So when there is an instance that all those plans fail, we cannot get it because it's too late. The time they will give it to us, the salary will be too late. At this time, then we have to go out and look for funds. Or if there is an emergency that we need to fund, that is time we go out and look for funds. The others, maybe we need materials from them, then we go and negotiate, they give us the material, like cement and other things for us to carry out with our projects.
When you're preparing your budget, your
Yes.
annual budget,
Yes,
you already plan for your salaries, right?
yes,
You plan for your salaries, you plan for all the projects that you're going to implement for that coming year.
yes,
You plan for the revenue that you're expecting for that coming year.
exactly,
And then you have all these revenue collectors. You have, is it about 37 revenue collectors
exactly.
to collect for the year? Now, if those revenue collectors do not collect revenue, that means that you cannot implement your budget. So if they're not collecting revenue, why are you still keeping them? Because
Yes,
you're paying salaries that you can't afford.
Yes,
And you're not allowed to run a deficit on recurrent, right?
yes,
So you can't be going through the year with no funds for salaries and you rely on overdraft the whole year to pay salaries.
yes.
So I'm asking, what's the point of having 37 revenue collectors that don't collect revenue?
Yes, if I can take a little bit back. When I took over in 2019, I conducted a personal survey. I went out with some officers. We went around the whole of Basse and to the Lumos and to the other, communities. So when I came back, I told the chairman, you see, what the revenue source that I have seen in Basse, with or without the support from the government, we shouldn't have problem. And that one, even during the time of COVID-19, in the early part of the 2020, we were able to pay salaries. I could remember that we were able to pay salaries. We were able to pay 1/6 for that particular Tobaski. When COVID-19 was in its peak, when the shops, the Lumos, and everything was closed. The issue is like one non-collection of the rate and tax and the lancing. Two, the reliability of the collection, whether all monies that are collected have been banked. That is another question. So, so those were some of the reasons while we are faced with this problem.
So
Among other reasons, yes, which we will discuss in.
You and your director
Yes.
are directly responsible for ensuring that the council collects all the revenue that it's supposed to collect every year.
Yes.
It is directly your responsibility.
Yes.
And if your revenue collectors do not do what they're supposed to do, you're supposed to take measures to ensure that revenue is collected.
Yes.
But you've not been doing this.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because it came to a time when the current, the then Director of Finance, Rami Suso, see me as direct interference with the collectors and not with him directly.
Mr. Suso, sorry, Mr.
Mr.
Suso.
Ture, yes.
Mr. Turi. You wanted to ask something?
Sorry, yeah. Mr. Ture,
Yes, ma'am.
you have said that the last time, let's go back to the issue of the withdrawals, the checks that you write leaving with the Director of Finance.
Yes.
You have said the last time you wrote checks, blank checks, and left it with the Director of Finance was 2021,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, can you explain what happened on the 23rd of March, 2023?
Good. 23rd of March, 2023. When I was going, I traveled to.
So just before you even explain, so is this date prior or after?
This was just not long ago.
So this is after.
Yes, after.
So your statement that the last time you did this was wrong is incorrect.
Let me explain, because when this thing happened,
No,
when he was questioned.
No, wait. Answer
Yes.
the question first. Is it incorrect?
No,
or it's correct?
I will say it's right.
It's right.
It's right. I will explain.
Okay.
That
You answer
the last time I
just
gave him a check.
a minute.
Yes.
You just answer the question.
Okay.
And then you can explain.
Okay.
Because
sorry.
we are taking your evidence.
I'm very sorry.
And we will not leave anything behind.
I'm very sorry.
We are
ma'am.
listening to you to clarify issues.
I'm very sorry.
So I am trying to get the sequence of events.
Okay.
So that is why I said the date you gave, that
Yes.
is the last time you leave a blank check, was in 2021,
Exactly.
that which you did when you went for leave. Is that not what you told the commission?
Yes.
And now I am saying, I am asking you to clarify on this
Yes.
23rd of March what
Exactly.
happened.
Yes.
So I am telling you now, the statement you make is incorrect.
Okay.
Is that not the case? In terms of the last time you left a check. Because if
Yeah.
the last time you left a check in 2021, you understand, it cannot be correct.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Am I right?
Yes, you are right.
Thank you. So now you can explain.
Okay. What I want to explain is, like, when I was going for leave in October, I leave a good number of checks that I have signed. I leave it with him. That was October 2021.
Yes.
But
How many checks, if you can recollect?
there are about 9 checks.
9 checks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In 2021.
In 2021, when I was going, because
Okay.
we have to pay some contractors and pay some other people that they owe us. These checks were handed over to Mr. Malafi Baji. This particular event that happened in 2023, it happens when
for the purposes of the evidence and record, when you leave these checks, you sign your own portion.
I signed
of
my
this
own portion. Yes.
And leave it for them.
Yes.
So that whenever they are ready,
Yes.
the Director of Finance will sign his portion.
Yes.
And they will go and do the transactions.
Exactly.
Okay. So you can continue.
This particular withdrawal of 400,000, I was with the Director of Finance on the 19th, on the 18th of March in the office.
18th of March, which year?
of 2023.
Okay.
That was the very day I left Basse, because the 19th I was supposed to travel.
Okay.
So we are there. Then I did the handing over to Malafi. No, sorry, I did the handing over to Yaya Sise, because that year I left everything to Yaya Sise. So when I left, when we are there, there was nothing like that he have a check, a blank check that he want to cash. The only thing he told me was he has a vehicle that was shipped to him, and he want the council to give him a credit of 400,000. I told him, Director, with this current situation, the council cannot give you any loan of 400,000. But it did not stop there. The chairman is alive, and then the acting chairman, because the chairman traveled, the acting chairman was one by Ture. When I refused, he called Baiture, from Baiture to convince me. Baiture told him that I don't think I can convince you to give you a loan of 400,000. He did not stop there. He called the current chairman when the chairman was already away to tell him that this is what he needs, but the CEO is not willing to give it to me. So, to my surprise, I was in US on the 23rd of March 2023, when I received a call, when I received an information from the bank that Lamin Suso came here to withdraw 400,000 from your account. I say 400,000 when the accounts are already ready.
From which account?
From Vista Bank account. I say when the accounts are already ready, and before I left, myself and Suso, we are all thinking about how to pay that March salary. We have some money in the account, so we are just building the Vista Bank account. So when that happened, I called that one. The internal auditors have already done their system audit, and in their recommendation, they recommended that the CEO, the finance director, their names should never be on the check. That is in the auditor's system audit when we go through there. So when these withdrawals was done, and I realized it, I flagged it, I brought to the knowledge of the permanent secretary, I brought it to the knowledge of the internal auditors. They even called a Zoom meeting while I was in US to find out from the Director of Finance why did he have to do that. What he told them was, that particular check has been with him for 7 good months. He said, that check has been with him for 7 good months. I signed that check because that time the council owed him an amount of 400,000 that we have not paid him. That was why he also went and withdrew that 400,000. The auditors, they are all alive. Baramajata is alive. Fatmata Dahaba is alive. And the chairman, because we have that group Zoom meeting while I was in the US. He told them that the check has been with him for 7 good months.
But you can verify whether that check that he said he had for good 7 months.
Yes.
At what time did you sign that check? Did you verify whether it was your actual signature? And at what time did you sign that check? Because you will obviously, you have access to the checkbooks, right?
Yes.
And you
yes, all the checkbooks are in his custody.
The
checkbooks are all under his custody.
Under your custody or his
custody? Or the Director of Finance custody.
Yes, but you have access to it because if you ask him to bring you the checkbooks, so you as his boss,
yes,
he cannot refuse you to cross-check this check so that you can give. What did you say at the Zoom meeting?
Well, I told them that I could not remember signing any check, living with the Director of Finance. That was the time he said, this check has been signed some 7 months ago, and you left it with me because the council should refund me 400,000.
Now let us go back to the dates. You went in March 2021 for your vacation, right?
Yeah, I left on the 19th of March, yes.
Yes, you left in March.
Yes.
So 7 months before would be what?
March to January.
Would be in 2020.
Yeah.
Huh? Am I correct? 7 months before March 19.
Yes.
would be in 2020.
This was in 2023.
That is what I'm
Yes.
You said you went for your holidays.
I went to attend a conference.
Yes.
UN
and
conference,
you said
yes.
when you were going, you left 9 checks.
No, okay, sorry. That was in October. Yes, now I get you. Yes, I'm sorry for that.
So that 400,000 check, did you check and did you verify whether it is part of the 9 checks that you have earlier issued in October? Were you able to do so? Because it is very simple to reconfirm whether that check is part of those 9 checks. Because they have a check number.
Yes.
And you can go to the bank and find out from the bank which check was cashed with respect to that 400,000. And he can also give you the information as to when he cashed the 400,000. And I believe that the audit system also captured when it was cashed, when it was withdrawn from the account.
Yes.
Did you cross-check and confirm?
No, once the matter was reported to the auditors, I did not confirm again because I left it to them.
Was it not your integrity in question when they raised this issue? Didn't you think it was prudent for you to have cross-checked to confirm?
Yes, it was very prudent, but prior to that, there were a series of other checks that has been forging my signature. I wrote to all the banks to get copies of those checks, but it was very, very difficult for me to get the copies of the check.
Why would it be difficult when you are the CEO of the council and you write to the banks and the banks will refuse you?
Like when I go to...
Did you have any evidence of that, which you are saying?
Yes, I have.
You wrote to all the banks.
Yes, I have letters that I wrote to all the banks.
Yes, please present the letters.
I will give you the letters. Yes.
All right. Yes.
So when I go to them, they will tell me those checks are long-time checks. They are in the archives, so we have to give
They
us
cannot
time.
tell you that because those checks. You can retrieve that information for 5 years. 5 years after you have done the transaction.
Yes.
It's their rules. They said it. So they cannot tell you that.
This is what they told me. And
yes, you can bring us that. And then when did Mr. Suso go on administrative leave?
On the 14th of July.
On the 14th of July.
Yes.
So this on the 23rd of March, whilst the system audit has already been concluded.
The system audit, yes.
Huh?
Yes, carry on, sorry.
Whilst the system audit has already been concluded, he still went ahead and withdrew this 400,000. Is that what is the situation?
Yes.
The system audit have been concluded.
Yes.
He went ahead and withdrew.
Yes.
The 400,000.
The system audit concluded, the national audit concluded. That's what I told him. I said.
No, I'm asking. So please answer the question
yes,
before you accept.
All the system audit concluded, and the national audit also concluded their findings before the 23rd. Yes.
And then he still went ahead on March 23rd to withdraw 400,000.
400,000, yes.
So did the system audit, which is, I believe, the final audit,
yes,
did they confirm to you whether the 400,000 that was withdrawn from the council account was withdrawn via a valid check? Did they do that?
No, they did not do that. They only asked that Lyman Suso should refund the 400,000 when they are making their final report.
And let me just ask this question before I hand you over. And why did you allow the Director of Finance to include bank loans and 1/6 as income in your books?
I think that was an error from the finance department and on my own side, because we are all looking at as a revenue that is going into the council because we have taken the money.
But that is what he told you.
Yes.
Not you were taking, but what he told you, you understand, is what you
Yes.
did, and you did not cross-check. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Council, yeah, okay.
Mr. Ture,
Yes, sir.
I have so many questions, but I will wait until we come back from the break.
Okay.
But just 2 questions I wanted to ask.
Okay.
You've been talking about leaving blank checks.
Yes.
Is that prudent?
It's
After
not.
serving so many years as even a budget officer at the Ministry of Basic Education,
Yes.
and you know you don't do that, sign a blank check and go. It's just like signing your death warrant.
Yes.
And you still went ahead and did, and you gave him 9 blank checks.
Yes.
Okay. When you come back from wherever you had gone to by giving him these 9 checks, did you reconcile the use of those checks, what they were used for?
Yes, we started a reconciliation, but
No,
we cannot.
I mean, did you reconcile the 9 checks, check 1 to 9, that you had left behind? What were they used for?
Yes, we have reconciled.
Okay.
But
Okay. No, that's all right.
I have a but to that one.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll provide that for us.
Okay.
And why is it so much unusual for you as a CEO,
Yes.
when you are traveling, you don't hand over to somebody else?
When I'm traveling, I always hand over to
To who?
Malafi Baji for the signatories.
Do you do that by official handing over notes?
In 2021, I did not do it in official, but 2022 and 2023, it was all official.
Okay. Now, you talked about borrowing from businessmen
Yes.
to pay salaries.
Yes. And other.
And one of the memos you wrote is to stop borrowing from businessmen and not to leave blank checks on that same memo.
Okay.
Now, then it means that you yourself, the author of that memo, violated that memo by going out to businessmen to take pre-financing loans.
I could not remember that memo.
You gave it to us.
That is exhibit LGC/CEO/CEO/BSC.
Can you please?
Mike.
It's exhibit LGC/OT/CEO/BSAC/006, the one dated 1st January 2020,
Okay.
with the heading "No Pre-Finance for Council."
Yes. That I'm referring to the council staffs. Generally, I was referring to the council staff.
Not a staff?
No, but they are not.
No, wait. Are you not a staff?
Yes, I'm a staff.
So that memo too also includes you.
Exactly.
So why did you violate that memo that you yourself wrote?
But I have never given my money to the council.
Yes, you haven't, but you went and solicited.
Yes.
That solicitation is
Yes.
what I guess this memo too could be interpreted to.
Maybe it is left to my.
No, look at the letter itself, the body of the letter. And another thing,
Sorry, ma.
which
sorry,
I find,
Sorry, sir. Can I clarify something on that?
Yeah.
Please. What really prompted for me to write this letter was because I have realized that the council staffs are pre-financing within the council. They collect money before they come, take it to the bank. They will solve the problems that they have, encountered while they are on collection. That was what prompted me to write this letter. But this is English language, and the way I understand it and the way you understand it may differ. But to my understanding, it was purely meant for the council staffs, including myself.
Yes, but all what I am saying is a recommendation from the, I guess this is the CEO, the clerk, it says recommendation 7, pre-financing. It didn't say staff going to fix their motorbike or taking transport fares or paying chiefs allowances, or it just says pre-financing has to stop with immediate effect.
Yes.
And this was copied to you and the Director of Finance.
Yes.
So I am saying you did not go by this memo. And this was written in 2021.
Okay.
Right? The interpretation is all encompassing, whether it's you, the council rate collectors, or the cleaner, or whether should not take or should not pay anything on behalf of the council, or go and get funds for the running of the council without properly going through the normal channels.
Yes, I think I should have added that clause there so that that will
Okay.
also
Okay.
take care of the people
Okay.
outside the council.
Yeah, okay. Now, do you review your budgets, because you've been there since 2019? Do you do a midterm review of your budget to see how you are performing, whether you are doing well or you are doing poorly? Do you do that in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and even 2023?
I don't do that specifically.
You don't do that. You don't review your budget as and when you are going.
Yeah, for occasionally, then I'll call the Director of Finance to come and we look at the budget.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, do you, when you are spending, do you cross reference to your cash flow?
I think in one of my letters, I wrote to the director to provide me with a cash plan, so that in that cash plan, when we are going to make any payment, we'll see whether it's possible or not. There's a letter to that effect.
You see, my problem
Yes.
with this is that in your statement,
Yes.
you said, I served the position of senior education officer,
Yes.
budget officer.
Yes.
So as a budget officer, you are already ingrained with certain techniques or certain procedures and all of these things.
Yes, I used to conduct bilaterals for
Yeah. You
overseas
see,
schools
my
and
problem
secondary
is,
schools.
after having all that experience,
Yes.
you went and flouted all of them by not going through all of these things the way it should have been done. So that leads me to the question, how influential was Lamin Suso over you?
Well, I don't have answer to that, because frankly,
Can you please speak up, because we are not getting
I say I don't have answer to that, because mostly when he comes bring the check for me, I sign the checks. It will be later when I realize that what I have did is very risky or is very wrong, but then it is already late. So I blame myself for that.
Okay, thank you for your honest answer.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Ture,
Yes.
let me ask you very simple questions.
Yes, sir.
The first thing is, you are giving us 2 dates of birth.
2 date of birth.
Yes.
My date of birth is 4th February 1968. That is
4th
what is-
February 1968.
That is what is in my ID card, my passport, my everything. Yes.
Okay, thank you. But in one of your statements, your date of birth is 13th March 1973.
Not Usman Ture.
Not Usman Ture.
No, maybe Hussein Ture.
Huh?
Maybe Hussein Ture.
It's Usman Ture. To us, it's
Please
Usman
give
Ture.
him the exhibit.
Yeah, can I please
Please give him
look at
the
the exhibit?
exhibit
Yes.
for yesterday.
Yes. It was 4th February 1968. Even if you go back to MOPSI or PAC, that is what you are going to find in my file. So I don't know how that comes about.
Mr. Ture, we will give you the exhibit to
Okay.
look at. But what is contained in your second exhibit, in your second statement, sorry, is date of birth 13th March 1973. Please take a look at it again.
Yes, let me look at it, please. Where is it exactly? No, this is not correct. No, it's not correct.
Is that your signature on the second statement?
Yes, this is not correct. This may be a typing error. It may be a typing error because it may be maybe the template is already there. When I'm giving my statement, they put it there. But honest to God, I have never changed. I have never altered. I have swear to the Quran.
No, you don't need to go that far. It's just that I needed clarification.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you know what's your problem?
No.
You see, there is nowhere where it's stipulated that you can travel and you don't hand over. As of now, you know, you went to public, you did public administration. You went to GIMPA, one of the best schools in Africa.
Yes.
And you travel and you sign checks, leave them behind without proper handing over. Why do you think you shouldn't hand over to someone else? As of now, you are no more there, but the council is working. Why didn't you hand over? Change signatures, people travel, they hand over. Why didn't you hand over?
Yes. In this particular instance, like I said, it was in 2021 that when I was going to hand over to the Director of Finance. But I have not changed the signature. But in 2022, I have changed the signature. In 2023, I have changed the signature.
Yes.
That is,
okay. No.
when I'm not there, it's Malafi Baji and Director of Finance who will sign.
Okay.
And for other claims to be approved is Yaya Sise.
Yeah,
Yes.
the fact is you should have handed over, not so.
Yes, in 2021,
when you
yes.
didn't hand over, you left blank checks behind.
Yes.
And let's go back to it. You and the CEO, who is to sign first?
Is it
Yourself and the Director of Finance, who should sign first?
Is the Director of Finance who should sign first?
You
Then
sign first. You sign, and then you should sign.
Yes.
You do the final signature.
Yes.
Now you ended up signing before the Director of Finance. Don't you think that that's the problem?
That's the problem.
Okay.
Yes, and I blame myself for that.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you realize that you are the Chief Spending Officer of Council?
Yes.
I have seen somewhere where you're talking of signatures being forged, etc. I should assume that as the CEO, you should meet with the Director of Finance weekly to look at all the payments that were made, and then you cross-check to see what and what we spend, who signed the checks, and those are very basic things you should do, not so?
Yes, sir. It was not very easy. I used to check all the books every week. Every Thursday, Friday, they will bring all the cash books to me. And that was during the time of Babukar MJ Kante. And when the Director of Finance took over in the early days, every week on Friday, they have to bring all the books to me. And I'll make sure that I'll work on them Saturday, Sunday, then Monday they get back their books, Monday early morning. And even before any payments, when they prepare the nominal roll, they have to bring to me, I check everything. But it was very, very difficult, frankly. It was very difficult, frankly, for me to be able to do that with the current Director of Finance. I will request the books, to get them is always a problem.
Why?
Well, maybe that one is also another weakness.
I'm taking you back to what the lead counsel asked you.
Yes.
Don't you think that you created a monster and the monster became too powerful for you?
Yes, this is what I said.
Was that not the case?
That was the case, and I accepted that is a weakness on my side.
Now, the final question.
Yes, sir.
Where have you left the integrity of the council if you can go around and borrow money? Where have you left the integrity of the council?
Sir, this used to be the last options. Like, if I tried all avenues and I cannot have funds, then I fall back to my friends. And I said that is only one person, and the second person may be Mumin. That Mumin I did not know. It is known to the former director of finance.
The other one?
The other one is
There is no wait. You've answered that one.
Yes.
You've agreed.
The other one, yes.
The mechanism that you use for collectors paying themselves. For example, they can bring you an invoice and tell you that my dynamo has a problem. Do you have a mechanic to cross-check before you pay for those invoices? Is that kind of system in place?
Normally, when they bring their request, I leave everything in the hands of the procurement officer.
Have a technician to verify if it is faulty or not?
No, council did not have an appointed technician. We only have a plumber, a masoner, a plumber and a masoner. But we don't have an appointed technician.
So as far as the motorcycles are concerned, all invoices are paid for?
Yes, once they
without
bring
cross-checking?
Once they bring the invoice, I'll ask the procurement officer to verify.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me just.
Yes.
Mr. Ture, I will be right to say that you instructed the finance director to discontinue using the GTRs.
Yes.
Right? Now, when you did that, were you sure of the efficient functioning of the IFMIS system?
The machines, the collecting machines.
The collecting machines?
Yes.
And the IFMIS system?
Yes.
You were sure of their functionality?
Yes.
And you have also said that you realized that the Director of Finance was using these GTRs in the collection of revenue.
Yes.
And that is what prompted you to write to the permanent secretary reporting this issue.
Yes.
The letter dated 15th November 2022, did you have a follow-up letter given how serious the allegations you made in that letter were? Because you have said that, if I may quote, as part of his many dubious activities. So you have concluded and confirmed that the Director of Finance was engaged in dubious activities. So for this letter of November 15, 2022, did you write a follow-up letter to prompt the permanent secretary to do the needful in this respect?
No, I did not make any follow-up letter, but I make follow-up calls.
And what were the response from the ministry? And who were you dealing with, by the way, at the level of the ministry?
It was the permanent secretary.
And who was the permanent secretary?
Buba Sanya.
So, and what was his response?
He will tell me that I forwarded the letter to the service commission, so I'm waiting for their reactions.
Okay. And did you contact the service commission?
No, I did not.
Did you, as a result of this, did you go back to the General Council for them to pass a resolution to that effect?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Sanya?
Mr. Ture,
Yes, ma'am.
on what grade were you appointed as the CEO of Basse?
It's fixed.
Grade?
There was no grade attached.
It was on fixed.
It's fixed, yes.
And what grade did you leave MOPSE?
I left MOPSI as, then I applied for longevity.
Please answer the
grade
question
9.
first. Yes,
Grade
and then
9.
you explain.
On
Thank
grade
you.
9.
Yes.
Is that the reason why you left MOPSE?
No,
Because
no.
the salaries of the incentives and salaries?
No, because when, that was not the reason.
That was not the reason.
No.
Okay. How has your experience as a former principal influenced your approach and strategies as a CEO?
Yeah, can you please repeat your question? I'm sorry.
How has your experience as a former principal influenced your approach as a CEO of Basse Area Council?
Yes, based on my experience as principal, vice principal, and with the other related qualification, that was what prompted them to identify me as a CEO, appointed me as a CEO.
And I'm sure you did not take your experience along. If you had taken your experience along, I'm sure there would have been some changes at the Basse Area Council.
I went with my experience. I went with the zeal and a passion to change the face of Basse Area Council. And in the early days, I have did what I could, though in many instances when the auditors and the compliance audit came, they realized that maybe all what we have done, we are not following the due process. But I have done my little quota to change the face of Basse when I took over as the CEO of Basse Area Council. It came to a halt starting in mid-2021 to 2023. But with my experience from MOPSI, at least every 2050, the salaries will be paid. And even the staff, they are listening, from 2019 to early part of 2021, salaries has never gone beyond the 2050.
Thank you.
Mr. Ture,
Yes, sir.
do you have a finance committee?
Finance
In council?
subcommittee.
Yes.
Yes.
How functional is the finance committee?
They meet when the need arises.
That is where the problem is. Council is sacrosanct.
Yes,
It's the
sir.
highest decision-making body. But then the finance committee is the heart of the council. All your problems, all the problems that you are having now is because of a non-functional finance committee. You are supposed to have monthly finance committee meetings, and then together the team, the administrative team, yourself, the finance director, and the committee itself would do a reconciliation of the bank accounts, of all the accounts. And then you, as the head of the administration, will bring in a schedule of income and expenditures. And then you have to reconcile the accounts in the banks together with the expenditures. If any council does not do that, that council is doomed to fail. And that is what is happening now. And if you have a dysfunctional finance committee or a non-functional finance committee, then you have a dysfunctional council. And if you have a dysfunctional council, then nobody will be able to execute anything, any projects at all.
Yes.
So what has been your experience in your role as the CEO and your relationship with the finance committee? The director of finance is directly under you. You are the accounting officer of the council, and
Yes,
you give directives or give direction. I wouldn't say directive. Directive is too authoritarian, but direction. You guide the council. That is why you are the CEO. But everybody else is your subordinate, and you are supposed to take the responsibility. But then if you allow everybody to do whatever they want to do, then there will not be a functional council. And you have the authority. Despite what the committees say, you guide them. What council says, you guide them. What councillors say, you guide them. And let it be recorded. And your number one problem, and the main problem, is the dysfunctional finance committee. And that is why you have all this financial mismanagement. If there was a proper system of having monthly finance committee meetings, and then having reconciliations, and then having a schedule of income and expenditure, then you wouldn't have come to this level. Then everything would have been tracked at the beginning. So what has been your relationship? Have you been following this pattern of administration when it comes to council administration? I know, for example, in other institutions, the systems are different, but when it comes to council administration, it's unique. There are ways of doing things, and you have to understand it. And you understand it, you have to live it and be with it. Otherwise, the problems that you are having is because the director of finance is very, very experienced in whatever corruption or operations you want to call it of council's finances. He's been there. Like he said, since 2002, he has been a revenue collector. So he knows the system. And you coming in new, he can easily bypass you in his own ways of maneuvering with the system, and you will not be able to follow. So the best thing that you could have done, or what I would advise you, is to make sure that your finance committee functions. And once that is done, then you will have less problem of proper financial management. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair.
I think it's past one. Sorry. Yes?
Yes, sir, I quite agree with all what we have said. But when I also took over, I found out that they are listening, they are hearing. I find out that these committees were very dormant, and even proper filing system was not in place. So what we have said is very right. They were very dormant. I tried to activate them, but even with that activation, they will only meet when the need arises. Because normally the meetings also, the frequent meetings also incur cost. But like you have said, it can be monthly meeting. When emergencies arise, they can meet before the end of month. I quite agree with you.
Can we, can we proceed, or can we, because it's past 1 o'clock?
Very well. I think it's a convenient point.
Yes, let me just ask one question, okay, and we can, and that will take us to 5:30. Now, Mr. Ture,
yes, ma'am.
You will agree with me that the application of financial principles,
yes,
in accounting,
yes,
and the principles of budgeting,
yes,
cuts across any spectrum,
yes,
because the principles that are applicable are the same wherever you go.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
And you were doing very well at MOPSI.
Yes.
You were a budget officer, you said so, right?
Yes.
So why didn't you use those principles? Because you know what you left at MOPSI is different from what you found there. But you could have used the same principles. The way you were doing so well in MOPSI, you should have imported that to the council. Because the principles are not different. It's just you putting the proper accounting systems in place. That is all you needed. Did you need anything extra?
No.
So why is it that BASI has to be a problem?
Like I said, it was not that much problem up to 2021. Our biggest problem started in 2021 when I personally, frankly, I lose control of the whole system. Because it was the people that I am working with they were very, very difficult to manage. So,
but you know,
yes,
what the Act says with respect to your responsibility.
Yes.
You know what the local government service staff rules say with respect to your responsibility. The Finance and Audit Act has clearly also indicated what your responsibilities are. And also the financial manual.
Yes.
So these were all guides for you, right?
Yes, you are very right.
And the audit report of 2019
yes,
made some clear, were you part of those people that made the management response in the 2019 audit report?
In 2019, yes.
You knew what was raised with respect to some of the challenges they have.
Yes.
Although they were not as as grievous as what the 2021, 2020, 2022 report highlighted. Right?
Yes.
You've also noted that you did not have your accounts were not in the red when it comes to your 2019
Yes.
reconciliations.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, 2019 reconciliation accounts were not red.
They were not
Up
red.
to 2020.
Yes.
Because though I found liabilities there, but we are able to fix all those liabilities.
Okay.
Yes.
So which means in 2020, you have a better footing in
Yes.
terms of managing the council funds
Yes.
and the entire management.
Yes.
So now what happened after that?
Like I said, the problem started in 2021.
Yes.
Yes. Because all along we have been managing.
But
Up
there
to-
was there any financial reconciliation in 2020? Did you make any financial reconciliation? Just like what we see for the 2019? There was none.
There was none. Yes.
So in effect, the statement may not be so true because if I can recollect, Mr. Suso went to Basse in February 2021.
Yes.
And you could not do your reconciliation in 2020. So your problem started in 2020, not in 2021.
No, 2020 April, the then Director of Finance have sent in the reconciliations of 2019. Then 2021 April, that of the reconciliations.
When are you supposed to send in your reconciliation?
Every April.
Every April.
Yes.
But prior to that, as my colleagues have identified, have indicated, you ought to have been preparing your financial statements.
2020 it was late, but it was sent to the auditors together with the financial statement.
Do you have copies of that?
No, that was why the auditors were able to audit the 2019, because when they came, they found me there.
Okay.
Yes.
For the 2020?
Yes, for the 2020.
You have a draft
I submitted it to
the commission?
the commission, yes.
We will check. Thank you.
Okay,
I think
thank you.
this is a convenient point to stop for lunch, and we will come back.